y'all. Welcome to More Sauce, Please. This is the first episode. This is Chef Omar. I hope you guys are excited. Mambo sauce is one that's super popular. Every time I make some, I have to make 20 rounds of it so I can give it to my friends and family. So I hope you guys are excited. For those of you that don't know what mambo sauce is, let me go ahead and get into that. First, myself, I'm born in Washington, D.C. I'm a local kid, uh, Redskins fan, Wizards fan. You can't get more local than that. And extra mambo sauce, follow me on IG. That's been my tag since high school. So carry out, I used to call the carry out. They heard my voice. They already knew three wings, French fries, salt, pepper, mambo sauce. I ain't even have to say it anymore. So a little bit of mambo sauce. So a lot. Nobody knows the real history of mambo sauce. Everybody can say they have an idea. I've done a lot of research myself. I'll tell you, and a lot of arrows point to Chicago. If you look at the history of Chicago, there's a barbecue joint that serves a mambo sauce, and you can actually go to your grocery store. They've had it for a long time. A mambo sauce has it right there on the label, MUMBO, mumbo sauce. Uh, what I like to say is that we're mambo sauce, MAMBO, but everybody spells it a little different. Nobody does it the same. So you got it's like mild sauce for some places. Some people would describe it like a sweet and sour sauce. I wouldn't describe it as a sweet and sour sauce. Maybe in the texture, yeah, but it's more like a sweet and savory sauce. Really, it's a way to add a layer of flavor to some Asian carry-out food that since I was a kid, I know I was going to eat. And growing up on going to Smokies on 14th Street, you could not beat that Uptown mambo sauce. I don't care what anybody says. Uptown had the best mambo sauce. Everybody's gonna be a little biased. I don't know. Everybody gonna say, "Oh, carry on my way, carry on the South Side, carry da 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 da." I don't know. My carry out around my way, growing up, couldn't beat that. So let's go into it. I'm gonna show you how I make mambo sauce at home. This is my home recipe, my way of doing it at home. All these ingredients are things you probably already have, or if not, you can just go to the grocery store. Nothing special, nothing fancy. What's special is the love that you put into it. So, let's go ahead and get started. First thing, you're gonna have like a medium pot, not too big, maybe a little smaller. I like to have a little more room than necessary. And you're gonna turn your stove on to about a medium high, about a six. So I'm doing that right now. So while we're letting that heat up for a second, I'm gonna show you. I like to start off with the wet ingredients. In my experience, you want those things to warm up before you add any dry ingredients, especially stuff like sugar, your seasonings. You want that to really blend well with the sauce when you're making it. So let's see. The first thing we're gonna start off distilled vinegar, white vinegar, nothing fancy. Your local grocery store has it. You're gonna let that start. Some nice pineapple juice. I like to use the good stuff, but any pineapple juice would do. And then soy sauce. So we go ahead and add that 8 ounces of the vinegar, 8 ounces of the pineapple, 6 ounces of soy sauce. You let that warm up a little bit. Now, like I said, you want to start off with the wet ingredients. That's whether you're making a barbecue sauce, you're making some orange sauce, some whatever. If it's something you need to warm up, you want to warm your wet stuff first, all your liquids. So what I'm looking for right now is a steam, not a lot. This is never going to go above a simmer. If it ever goes above a simmer, then you have it too high. Make sure you're constantly mixing it around. And so after that comes the ketchup. Now you can't go wrong with some good ketchup. Spend the extra dollar. Don't get the corn syrup, cornstarch filled stuff. I don't like using cornstarch in my mambo sauce. Uh, you know, this is a personal thing. Some people like to use it to thicken up their sauce. I think personally with the ketchup, the sugar, the paste, I think everything thickens up pretty well on its own. So I like to get the ketchup that doesn't have any corn syrup in it. Man, I tell you, when I learned to make mambo sauce at home, it was over. It was done. I shouldn't even have told people. Everybody gets hooked. Everybody's like, how you make it? Who showed you? I tell you, it took me a lot of trial and error. I'm not gonna say a lot because I grew up with mambo sauce all over my chicken wings, all over my French fries, my fried rice. Them fat boy days. You go ahead and put it on your dip your steak and cheese in it. You ran out of the sauce for the crab ragouts. Using the mambo sauce for the crab ragouts, all that good stuff. Look, don't get me started on the carryout. I spent too much time at the carryout. So I'm just mixing that well, making sure everything's nice, and I'm gonna show you what we have so far. Start right now. It probably looks more like a barbecue sauce, and that's fine. Personally, I like it being a little dark. The combination of the soy sauce and when you add the brown sugar is gonna keep it dark. That's fine. Color is love. All right, so I can feel. I just like to put my hand above it. You can feel a little bit of the warmth coming off. So the next thing I'm gonna add. So let's see on this plate right here. Spread it out for you a little bit. So up here, you can see the list. We have the list of ingredients posted online. So go ahead and look at that list. Everything's on there in case you don't catch everything in the stream. But we have your black pepper, we have your salt, we have your garlic, we have your onion, we have your ginger, and we have your cayenne. Now, salt is a personal preference. I put on there about how much salt I like to use. The reason I like to use this much salt, you might notice that there's no hot sauce. Some people like to just buy a bottle of hot sauce and throw it into their mambo sauce. That's how I started off doing it. I'm not gonna lie, it comes out great. Just buy your favorite mambo sauce, and it's your personal take on it. But in terms of an easy, not expensive way, I don't like using a whole bottle of hot sauce for the amount of mambo sauce that I'm using. I just go ahead and use the cayenne, get some good quality cayenne, and just balance out the flavors with a little bit of ginger or a little bit of garlic and the onion and salt. You're gonna balance it out, and you're gonna get pretty close to that hot sauce flavor that you missed. And so these levels of season. Oh, the ginger's key. If you're not using ginger, it's not mambo sauce. The ginger and the pineapple juice, especially if you're not using those things, is not mambo sauce. I've done a lot of research. I've talked to a lot of old heads, especially the old heads. Don't tell me, all you youngins, don't tell me what mambo sauce is, because I talked to the old heads. The old heads tell me what mambo sauce is. So you make sure there's a ginger in there. I want to see my black pepper in there. I want to see all those little specks all throughout my sauce. So this is nice. It's warmed up nice. We're gonna go ahead, drop that in there. We're gonna get ahead and mix it up. You're gonna start getting those aromas. All right. So let's see. Right now where we're at, you should be seeing a little bit of steam coming out of your pot. Make sure you're getting those edges. If you're not using a whisk, you can use a spoon. This is a whisk. If you're not using a whisk, you can just use a spoon or you know whatever you gotta use, whatever you got at home. Just make sure you're getting your corners, you're getting that bottom. Make sure you're not scraping the mess out of your pots, but make sure you're not leaving anything behind. All right, so now we're gonna actually drop that to a 4 from a 6. So I just dropped it from a 6 to a 4. All right, so it should be smelling good, looking good. Now, of course, we're gonna add some sugar. Light brown sugar is what I like to use. The regular granulated sugar, there's nothing wrong with that. A little bit more processed. It'll lighten up your mambo sauce. So if you like that, like, oh, I like light skin mambo sauce. I like that lighter mambo sauce. Some people, hit me with that. Everything's personal preference. I like a little brown sugar. I think everybody should have a little brown sugar in their life. But gently get that in there. Excuse me. Salud. Now we're mixing that up, mixing it up, mixing it up. Like I said, you want to make sure everything is nice and blended. And the longer these all these ingredients make love in the pot, the more and more that flavor is gonna come out, and more you're gonna be like, oh yeah, this is mambo sauce. All right, and the last little thing I'm throwing in there is my 5 ounces of tomato paste. Tomato paste, especially since I'm not using the cornstarch, like I said, or the corn syrup, the tomato paste is what does it. Add that last little bit of the thickness the sauce needs. And some of y'all gonna be like, why would he give away his mambo sauce recipe? Look, there's no one way of making mambo sauce. That's what I was saying before. So to some, I gave away the recipe. Things ain't ever gonna be the same. Personally, I think everybody should know how to make this at home, especially you Washingtonians, and put your little twist on it. Personally, I like it a little spicy. I used to ask for some hot sauce on my wings and French fries too. But I share with my 2-year-old. He loves the mambo sauce. Every time I make something, he'd be like, "Daddy, mambo." I'd be like, "Yeah." As soon as you see that pineapple juice on the counter, the soy sauce, everything, "Daddy, French fries." Yep. Yeah. So at this point, we got all our ingredients in there, and so like, remember when we started off? We started off at a 6 temperature, about a 6. Translate to whatever stove you have at home. Dropped it to a 4 as I was adding the ingredients. And now what I want to do is I want this to sit here and mix for a little bit, make love. So I'm gonna bring it down another 2 notches to a 2. So it started off at 6, down to a 4, down to a 2. And so that's gonna go. I'll let that go for about maybe not too long, 15, 20 minutes. Just keep an eye on it, stir it often. Make sure that it's not sticking to the bottom. Taste it, definitely taste it. But no, the longer it sits in there, the longer it makes love, the more the flavor is gonna combine, and it's gonna become that true DC style mambo sauce that you guys missed. And so I have some mambo sauce here, so you don't have to wait. What I do is I just save the bottles. Anytime I'm done with the hot sauce bottle or something like that, I save it. And so I was having some fried chicken last night. Let me show you what this looked like. Show you that drip test. It's not runny. Perfect amount of thickness. I don't know if you can see the specks of black pepper. And so, classic French fries, chicken wings, mambo sauce. But outside of that, there's definitely more ways to use mambo sauce when you're doing some baked salmon or any type of fish at home. If you're broiling it at those when it's just at the very end where your fish is finishing off, glaze it with some of this, let it go in there for another like 5 minutes or so. Adios. You're gonna be so happy. What else? If you're doing like fried okra, where does it have to be fried? To be baked items too. I love using it as a glaze, as a dip. That's the beautiful thing about mambo sauce. Honestly, you add just a few more ingredients in there, it becomes a good marinade as well. And so yeah, that's the mambo sauce. I hope you guys make it at home. Add your twist to it. Go find your favorite hot sauce. Let's see so you can see what's. You can see. Any better lighting? That's the hot sauce. That's the mambo sauce in there. But yeah, get your favorite hot sauce. Get your favorite. Turn up the heat. Get honey. Sometimes I like using honey. I want to feel a little fancy. But yeah, get creative with it. Use it a million times, a million ways. I want to see everybody's different ways of using mambo sauce, and it's a movement that's never gonna stop growing. DC for life. And make sure you follow me on IG. Extra mambo sauce. No E, XTRA, all together, one word. Facebook, Omar Marroquin, Extra Mambo Sauce, Twitter, everything across the board, Extra Mambo Sauce. Salud.